Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a like up. The bold and the beautiful spoilers divulge that John Finnegan and Steffy Forrester have been to hell and back in their relatively brief marriage. First, Steffy was terrorized by Finn's mom, Sheila Carter, Kimberlyn Brown. Sheila went on to shoot the couple and left them for dead. Now the couple have to deal with more family issues, namely Luna Nozawa drugging Steffy and throwing her in a cage. Then there's the Hope Logan issue. Hope has a crush on Finn and kissed him in public. Despite all that drama, the Finnegans are solid. Or so they seem. Could there be trouble in paradise waiting just around the corner for these two? Definitely maybe. Two returning characters could throw a monkey wrench into the couple's bliss. On Friday, September 20, Finn has two unexpected characters in his office, Captain Deuce Stevens, Tom Arnold, and lab tech April, Jameson Belushi, daughter of Jim Belushi. What business do these three have together? The show has been tight-lipped about what new plotline might be brewing, but it appears that April and Deuce also meet with Finn's mom, Dr. Leigh Finnegan. Fans were introduced to Deuce this summer when he flew the Forrester private jet. The FC crew went to Monaco for the launch of Brooke's bedroom, but Steffi was left behind when she couldn't find her passport. There isn't much known about Captain Deuce, other than that he is a stickler for following the rules. He refused to fly Steffi unless she could produce her passport. What business could the pilot now have with Finn? It makes more sense that a lab tech would be in Finn's office given the environment. Does April have results that Finn needs to go over with Tom? Or could Tom and April somehow be related? PNB fans, tell us what you think goes down when these three characters meet. It was a sunny afternoon in Los Angeles, but despite the glowing sun outside, Finn couldn't shake the shadow that loomed over his thoughts. As he sat in his office at Forrester Creations, he fiddled absent-mindedly with a pen, staring out the window. The sound of distant voices echoed through the halls, but his mind was elsewhere, caught up in an encounter that he couldn't quite explain. An encounter that he hadn't mentioned to Steffi yet. It all began a few days ago. Finn had been called to a medical conference in San Francisco. He hadn't expected anything out of the ordinary, just a routine trip to catch up on the latest innovations in the medical field. But something, or rather, someone, had changed the course of his trip. The moment he entered the conference, his eyes landed on her. She stood out from the crowd not because of her striking beauty, but because there was something so familiar about her. Yet Finn couldn't place where he had seen her before. Her name tag read * Isabella Montgomery *, and as their eyes briefly met, she smiled, a warm, knowing smile that seemed to hint at more than just a passing glance. There was an odd spark in that moment, one that caught Finn off guard. He dismissed it at first, convincing himself it was just a strange case of déjà vu. But throughout the day, he couldn't shake the feeling. He found himself scanning the room for her, feeling a strange pull toward her presence. During a coffee break, they crossed paths again. This time, Isabella struck up a conversation. Her voice was smooth, her words carefully chosen as if she knew more than she let on. "Dr. Finnegan, right? I've heard a lot about you," she said, extending a hand. Finn raised an eyebrow, slightly taken aback. "Yes, but I'm afraid I don't know you." "Oh, we've never met officially," she replied with a soft laugh. "But I've heard of your work, and let's just say, our paths have almost crossed before." There was something enigmatic about the way she spoke, and it only piqued Finn's curiosity further. Who was this woman, and why did she seem to know so much about him? He found himself wanting to know more, even though part of him felt that it might lead to trouble. They exchanged a few pleasantries, talking briefly about medical advances, but there was an undercurrent of something unspoken between them. That evening, Finn attended a dinner hosted by the conference. To his surprise, Isabella was there too, sitting at the same table as him. The conversations flowed easily, but every now and then, Finn felt her gaze lingering on him a little longer than necessary. It wasn't flirtatious, but it was intense. He tried to brush it off, but her presence seemed to dominate his thoughts, even when he wasn't looking directly at her. Later that night, Finn returned to his hotel room, feeling a strange sense of guilt. He hadn't done anything wrong, But there was something unsettling about how drawn he had been to Isabella. It wasn't attraction in the romantic sense, but rather a curiosity that bordered on obsession. He felt like she held some secret that he was desperate to uncover. And then, the next morning, just before the conference was set to end, it happened. Isabella approached him once more, this time alone in the lobby of the hotel. There was a quiet tension in the air as she stepped closer to him, her eyes searching his face. "Finn, there's something I need to tell you," she said, her voice soft but urgent. Finn's heart skipped a beat. "What is it?" She hesitated, as if choosing her words carefully. "You may not remember me, but we've met before. Years ago, in Paris." Paris? The memory hit Finn like a wave crashing over him. A medical trip during his residency. A whirlwind few days, where he had met so many people that most of it had blurred together in his mind. But then, a flash, an image of a younger Isabella standing at the foot of a hospital bed, watching him as he worked on a trauma patient. He had saved that patient's life, but in the chaos, he hadn't paid much attention to the faces around him. "I was an intern at the time," she explained, seeing the recognition dawn on his face. "I never had the chance to thank you properly. You inspired me to pursue emergency medicine." Finn was at a loss for words. He hadn't expected this. I'm glad I could help," he stammered, feeling the weight of her gratitude. But then, she added something that sent a chill down his spine. "There's more. That patient you saved, it wasn't a random accident. It was orchestrated. I've been investigating ever since, trying to piece together the truth." Finn's mind reeled. "What are you saying?" Isabella looked around nervously, lowering her voice. "I think there's a deeper conspiracy at play. And you, Finn, you were part of it without even knowing." Now, sitting in his office at Forrester, Finn couldn't shake the weight of Isabella's words. He had kept this entire meeting from Steffy, not because he didn't trust her, but because he wasn't sure what to make of it himself. How could he explain the strange, magnetic pull he had felt toward Isabella, or the dark secret she had hinted at? Steffy had always been his rock, his partner in every sense of the word. But this felt like something bigger, something that might put them both in danger. Finn had tried to bury the memory of Paris, but now it had resurfaced, and with it, a web of mystery he wasn't sure he was ready to unravel. As the door to his office creaked open, Finn quickly snapped out of his thoughts. Steffi walked in, her face glowing with that familiar warmth that always put him at ease. But today he felt a pang of guilt. "Hey you," she said with a smile, crossing the room to sit on the edge of his desk. "You've been distant since you got back. What's going on?" Finn hesitated, his mind racing. He wanted to tell her everything, to share the strange encounter with Isabella and the conspiracy she had hinted at. But something inside him held him back. Maybe it was fear, or maybe it was the lingering doubt that this was all just a coincidence, and he didn't want to worry Steffi unnecessarily. "Nothing," he said, forcing a smile. "Just a lot on my mind from the conference." Steffi tilted her head, studying him closely. "You sure?" "Yeah, I'm sure," Finn replied, pulling her close and kissing her forehead. But deep down, he knew that this secret, this strange connection to Isabella, would haunt him until he uncovered the truth. And as Finn held Steffi close, he couldn't shake the feeling that their world was about to be turned upside down.